Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to another episode of my Gems of War Let's Play. In this episode, I'm going to be explaining a bunch of drops from chests. I have 1,200 glory keys right here, or well, actually 19 more than that, whatever. But quite a few glory keys that I've gotten from the PvP weeks, treasure maps, and mostly from the guild, which I'll be opening. Before I do that though, there are a few things I want to go over real quick. The first thing is the event pack this week. This is actually the first event pack that I'm buying on this Let's Play account, and it's for the Spirit Fox pack. It's a pretty good troop. I'll explain it more in the weekly event video tomorrow, but it drains mana, static 5 mana, but it also gains true damage based on its magic. And the main thing that makes it really good, does have empowered once you get it to its last trait. So I'm gonna get one of these. I might actually get 5 more of them later. The main reason I'm not getting too many more than that, aside from the fact that I can't really afford it, is, as I mentioned many times before, but not in this Let's Play yet, the Ultra Rares, I have only 1 Arcane Stone with them, which is actually the highest cost of any rarity troop that comes in here. All the commons and Ultra Rares have this high cost. It costs 300 for 1 Arcane Trait Stone, whereas Epics costs 200 each, and Legends cost 250 each. So you don't want to buy too many of them when it's ultra rare or common, because you're spending the most amount of glory just to get the least amount of trait stones. But I am going to get one because I really want this troop. And something I want to show with it, aside from all that we get all this, which is a lot of nice resources, that 5,000 gold is really good too. What I want to show with it is a team I ended up making with it. That also uses last week's event troop. And what was it called? Spirit. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Spirit Wolf, I think it's called. Down to S. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where did the troop go? I actually completely forgot what it's called. I know it's Margrim Woods. There it is. Spirit Fox. That's definitely not a wolf, but yeah. This team. Morthani's Will with Wolf Knight, Miststalker, and of course the Spirit Fox that just came out this week. It is a really good true damage deck. All of it is true damage. And you have a nice tank up front. And the rest have really good scaling early game with a +6 extra damage and the poison +3 whenever it kills someone. So this would be a really good team if you got Morthani's Will last week. You definitely want to try it out, because you can do a lot of damage with true damage, because you don't have to worry about armor and you get to kill troops really quick. Plus, Morthani gets the steel armor too, so you really won't have to worry about armor with anything. But now let's get into some other teams. I won't actually be showing, or some other teams, all the keys, I mean. Also, one other thing. I'm actually getting really close to 500 gems, actually literally 1 gem away. So I will be getting the what's it called? The dragon armor once I get that last gem, which is, of course, under armors. You definitely want to try getting one of these. I'm mostly just wasting my gems on armors right now, so I don't get too many resources. As you can see by the keys alone, we're already at quite a high amount. Also, I've been upgrading Zolkari, so let's get up another level so we can try aiming for that level 10 kingdom to get that extra magic. And let's get into these keys and start explaining them. Because that's an odd number, I do want to get the 21 out of the way first. Let's just go through these. Whoa, wow, right from the start, we're already on a nice little mount right here. Well, we got Mohawk, which is a really decent troop. I don't know how well he'd be early on. With that true damage team that I just showed, he'd probably actually go really well in it. But he drains an enemy's mana. He deals true damage based on magic. And then based on that mana drained, he does 2-to-1 ratio. So if they have like 10 mana, he's doing an extra 5 damage to them, true damage to them. Plus he's draining all their mana. So this is actually a really good drop. We might need to try him out later. I have so many things I need to level, but I'm actually leveling a different team that I want to show later in the week, which is also why I didn't show the other one. And we also got Dark Song. She is the troop that you get for completing the quest line of Groshnok, whatever that one kingdom is called. I always mispronounce it, but it's really good against all goblin teams. It deals damage to an enemy and deals double if they're used green mana. Also, one thing that I wanted to go backtrack to, which I actually completely forgot to do last week, that someone reminded me on YouTube. I got Ferret in a random key that I opened, the gem key that I got, and I didn't actually say what he does or anything like that. He deals damage to the last enemy and then drains their mana. He's pretty good early game. You get him from the quest line of Carecraft, which is that first kingdom that I got to the magic for, up to level 10. He is a decent troop. I prefer Rockworm over him, mostly because Rockworm can loop its ability. Alright, let me show Rockworm real quick. Because Rockworm deals damage to the last troop just like Ferret, but Rockworm also creates 7 brown mana, which is the color that it uses. So you can loop with Brownworm and just keep casting it over and over again. The main difference why I also prefer Rockworm is, for one, it's a common, so it's going to be a lot easier to get, plus you'll be able to get it ascended a lot easier, and the soul cost will be cheaper, but the main thing is, the traits will be a lot cheaper to obtain. Rockworm is a common, so his last trait will only cost 1 arcane. Ferret, for his second trait, will cost 8, and his last one will cost 4, I believe it is, which is a total of 12. So that's quite a big cost compared to Rockworm that only costs 1 arcane. So Rockworms I prefer a lot more over Ferret. Anyways, back to the Chester. Let's do another 10. I hope this next 10 is that lucky. Nope, nothing really good. Let's keep going. Let's use this last one so we get them evened out. We got a Siren, and now let's keep going on 50s now. Another Siren, and whoa, we didn't get anything really good. Oh, a Weavern. Weavern isn't that good. It deals 6 damage to the first enemy and then poisons the last enemy. The fact that it doesn't do both of those to the same troop makes it a little bit weak, because that poison troop will keep surviving unless you have other backshot. You don't really need this troop. It's actually fairly weak. It's really good in arena, but out of it, you don't really need it. And that's all for this one. Let's keep going. Let's see. As I mentioned, Saurian is actually very useless right now. And there's a troop coming up really soon in like next week's event or the following week, like 1 or 2 weeks, that will make Saurian really, really weak in comparison if they don't rebalance him. Anyways, Gob Tromper again, the good Marauder counter. I don't think we got any news, so let's just keep going. Okay, we got a couple more. Myriad. You get this from the Drifting Sands Kingdom after completing the quest line. He isn't particularly good. He deals he deals damage to an enemy, and if there are 10 or more green gems on the field, he'll do a random status effect to it. The ability on its own is pretty good, but the mana cost is pretty high, so it's not really that viable compared to other troops. You're almost better off using the First Kingdom's Luther compared to Merid. And we got another Rowani, which will be really good for us, because that's one step closer to being able to ascend her to Legendary. And we also got Spark Grinder. Spark Grinder you get at the end of the Donna questline, and he gives attack and armor to an ally. And if they are a construct, it gives twice as much. So he is really good at buffing constructs. In particular, he's really good with Carnex, if you happen to get him. Carnex is a legendary though. Other alternatives for that is he's really good with Goblin Rocket, despite them both using the same exact color. Once you get that all the way back up, because Goblin Rocket is really good at looping on the board because of his extra turn with his explosion, all the board control that it gives. So it actually works pretty good with Spark Grinder, despite the complete mana blocking. And that's it for this. Let's keep going. Come on. Oh wow, another legend, the Silent One. Silent One's actually really good in early game. Silence One, all it does is silence all enemies as well as himself. But most people in early game don't have that many traits, if any at all. So they won't have any of the immune to silence traits. So Silent One, there's like very, very little counters to him early on. Like Herdmaster is basically one of the only really good counters to him in the early game. So if you get this thing with an Alchemist or Valkyrie, you can really start to completely disable the enemy team. And we got Wildfang. Wildfang, you won't really need too much. He's just a hard counter to Wildfolk. He does damage to a random enemy and deals triple if they're Wildfolk. Plus he has the 2 times skull damage for Wildfolk. So he's basically just a completely made to counter Wildfolk. So unless a Wildfolk actually become like really big in the meta, you won't really need him. Also, we got an Arcane Spirit trait stone. I'll need to figure out what we need that for. I don't think we really need anything with that at the moment, but that's nice. It's always nice to get more Arcanes since they're... Arcanes are basically the hardest trait stone to get in this game. So let's keep going. The main reason for that, which I actually didn't explain earlier, Arcane trait stones are so hard to obtain. Not exactly because they're rare, well, they're epics too. But the legendary trait stone, the problem with it is there's only one legendary trait stone, but there's like 20-ish arcane trait stones. I actually forget the number off the top of my head. So it's a lot harder to get a specific arcane trait stone. One of the easiest ways to actually obtain them is from the event packs each week, which is why I said I might actually buy a couple more of the event pack this week, because it's green purple, and we'll need that for things like Stargazer and the Spirit Fox. And we didn't really get too much here, but as I mentioned from like a week or two ago, when I said not to spend glory on Yeti, as you can see here, we already got another Yeti for free, so we didn't have to spend that 300 glory to get it. So, oh, another Rowani. We are going to get her to legendary in no time. That is really good luck. But we also got Raven. Raven is the troop you get at the end of the Mist of Scales questline. He's pretty good with other single target troops. He deals damage to an enemy, and if he kills them, he gains 7 mana, which is 7 out of 10. So that's almost all his mana back. A single match will fill it right back up. Plus an extra turn. So he's really good at doing last hits on enemies. And oh, we saw a new. Oh, Arcane Beast Trait Stone. We'll find a use for that later. Yep, come on. We got Swamp Blast now. Swamp Blast deals 8 damage to an enemy troop, deals double if they are entangled. Somewhat decent early on. This epic is not a questline epic, so it is a little bit harder to obtain. One troop that is really good with, which is also not a questline epic, is Green Seer, because they don't have any mana conflict, plus Green Seer makes a bunch of greens that I'll be able to use. Plus Green Seer entangles a random enemy, so Swamp Blast plus Green Seer works really good if you happen to get that combo. You probably won't have it early on, but you'll get it probably around level 100-ish, depending on how many keys you obtained. And, oh, wait, we did get a couple more. Oh, and there we go, our first Celestial Trait Stone. Celestial Trait Stones are used to upgrade the final trait on Epics and Legends. Epics take 1 Celestial Trait Stone on their final trait, and Legendary troops take 2 Celestial Trait Stones on their final trait. Plus we got an Arcane Light Trait Stone, we'll use that sometime. The main problem with these is once you actually do start getting some of the Arcanes, the problem is you run out of minor Trait Stones really quick in this game. And if it's not minor Trait Stone, then you'll start running out of Runic. You're basically always going to be low on 1 Trait Stone. That's kind of how this game works. But treasure maps are a pretty good way to farm trait stones. That and glory keys are actually pretty good too, which I'm opening right now. Whoa! What is this? What is this? We got war! We got war on, like, what was this? How many did I have at the beginning of this? We had like 1,200 keys, so 400 keys in, we got war. Wow. Okay, if you guys don't have war yet, which is pretty common because he is absolutely the war, I don't know, what am I saying right now? I can't even talk right now. This is amazing. Anyways, okay, sorry, I just need to calm down and do commentary and progress this thing. Okay. Anyways, mythics were recently added. There's going to be a new mythic every single month to the game. War is currently the only mythic because they just added this into the game recently. Mythics are the rarest possible troops in the entire game. They're even rarer than legends. They're basically near impossible to get, or at least a really low chance of getting. But you can get them from glory keys, gem keys, and VIP chests if you happen to have those. You'll mainly be getting them from glory chests since you'll probably get a little bit more of those compared to gem chests. Anyways, what he does, I'm gonna have to try this troop out sometime. That's amazing. Obviously, he's gonna be really good early game. He's a mythic already. You don't need to ascend him. He's already mythic. Anyways, we won't be able to trade him though. His trading costs are ridiculous for an early game player. But anyways, he burns all enemies, deals 3 damage to an enemy, and boosts it by his attack. And he has a really high mana cost. All mythics will. That's one of its downsides, but it's already mythic. It has really high stats. And if you can ever get the ability down, a burn to all, that's just going to tear apart anything in the early game. we can get like a Valkyrie on this and he'll just fill up real quick. Anyways, that's war. I have Aberrath here. I don't recall getting Aberrath. It doesn't say new next to it, but let me go over it. It removes all gems and then heals to full. That heal to full actually makes it a really good card. If you can get a heal on this guy, or not a heal, but an HP gain on him, something that can increase his HP, he'll be good. He's constantly good at all areas in the game. He works really good with Valkyrie, as well as Keeper of Souls. Keeper of Souls is a legend that we don't have yet, but he works pretty good with things like that. Valkyrie, of course, we have, and we'll probably use it with him if we do decide to use him. And then he gains a bunch of attack. And he does remove all gems. It's not destroy all gems, but one thing with removes is when that field comes back in after his ability, it can still gain extra turns and pairs and stuff like that. So this remove all gems can actually still generate some mana or some attacks and some. It's just completely random if it does. And it might actually leave the enemy with some really good moves. So it's kind of a gamble with it. But he gains full HP, or backs a full heal, so that's really good. Plus his traits are good, but that's later on. They cost quite a bit. And what else do we have here? Don't need that, don't need that, and that's... Oh, we got another new one. We got Arcane Deep. This one, if you get an Arcane Deep trait stone, the main thing you want to use this for is you have to decide if you want to upgrade Golem or Rockworm. Golem is a really good tank that has immune to all status effects, plus it gains 50% skull reduction from skull attacks, and Rockworm I showed earlier is a looping troop that's good for doing damage to the back enemy of the opposing team. So if you get one of these, you definitely want to consider doing Golem or Rockworm with the upgrade of it. So let's keep going. We got Skeleros, which is all it does is double the amount of skulls on the board for 13 mana. Currently, you don't need him. He's not good in any aspect of the game. He's kind of obsolete right now. He might be buffed in the future. We'll see. There's not really any good synergies for him. And that seems to be it for the drops on this one. Let's keep going. It looks like my luck has ran out. I used up all my luck getting that war. Yeah, I used up all the luck on the war. I'm not going to get a single thing above epic for the rest of these. Okay, I stand corrected. We got a tank bot, not too good. Marith, that was just added to the game, is much, much better than tank bot is right now. All it does is steal 4 damage and then deals damage to that enemy. And that the damage is what scales off of magic, not the armor gain, or the armor steal. And that's basically it. He doesn't do too much. You don't need him. He's also not a questline epic, so you basically don't need him at all. Plus 2 more Yetis! I don't really need him, but that's why I say don't waste too much glory on the Ultraverse. Like even that Spirit Fox, like I want to get more Spirit Foxes, but I don't want to have to waste all the glory to get more Spirit Foxes. Anyways, we got another Aberrath. If the previous one was true, that means we have 3 Aberraths now, which is quite a bit. We also have Dolkifer. He's a good summoner. I explained him before, but he's not a quest epic, but if you get him, you definitely want to consider him, because he summons a summon, which then summons another summon, which is basically unkillable in the early game. Anyways, we have Finley, which is good with... I might actually have to try this with the other team that I was going to surprise for later in the week, but Finley is an interesting troop. You don't see him too much anymore, but he transforms all skulls to a selected mana color and then gains gold based on it. He's really good at looping with troops that don't really need skulls, but use a lot of mana. And another Celestial trait stone. We won't need these for a while, but it's good to have a few once we do, so we can start getting traits on legendaries. You don't want to, early on in the game, you do not want to trade epics. They don't have anything, none of the epics are really worth trading. You want to save Celestial trait stones and the bulk of your Arcane trait stones for legendaries, because every single legendary has a unique legendary trait, and most of them are extremely powerful. So let's keep going. We still have, we're almost about halfway there. Actually, we're a little past halfway. Oh, there's another green Sarah. Funess is okay. We have Tacet now, which is actually really good with rockworms that I mentioned earlier. This is not a quest epic, so you do have to get it from chest. It deals 3 damage to all enemies, and that's boosted by blue gems to brown at 3-1. So it's pretty good at looping with troops that need browns. And it does some really good AoE damage with other full AoE troops. Or like I mentioned, you can place it with 3 rock worms. It actually works really well. And that seems to be it for this one. Let's keep going. Whoa! What is this? What is this? I don't even know what these chests are. Like, what is this? I wish I always had this kind of luck. Wow. Anyways, we have Keeper of Souls. I was just mentioning him earlier with the Abrath. He transforms all skulls of a chosen color to all skulls to a chosen color. All gems of a chosen color to skulls. So he works really good with other gem converters since he is a gem converter himself. And he does things to skulls, which will do a lot of damage. One thing I mentioned why he's good with Valkyrie and Abrath is because Abrath plus Valkyrie plus Keeper of Souls, you get 2 necromancy traits, one from Keeper of Souls and one from Valkyrie, and you can easily get the max amount of souls with that combo. And anyways, here is the Great Maw. Quite possibly the most overpowered troop in this game right now, which is absolutely amazing. If you have him, you need to put him in your team because he's amazing in all aspects of this game, late, early, anything. His mana cost is a little bit high, and you can only cast his ability once. But he devours an enemy. Devour just completely kills off an enemy, takes their divine shield if they happen to have a divine shield on them, and then takes all their HP and all their attack and all their armor if they have any armor left. And then he creates 8 yellows and 8 browns. And it just does a lot of chaos. This is basically an instant kill shot to any opponent. Plus, way later, this won't happen anytime in early game, but he has a 15% chance to devour an enemy on skull damage. So if you put a skull spawner with him, he can just tear through any team, regardless of what it is, because he doesn't care what anything's armor or resistance is. He just has to get that hunger off, and instead, the devs said they might lower this to 10%. If the Great Maw is getting a nerf, it will be to that, down to 10%. So that won't really be applicable early game. All you really need him for early game is his ability. You don't even need to trade him, since getting this up will cost 16 arcane trade stones, so that takes quite a bit. We got 2 Mercies. Mercy's really good if we can ever get her traded. She's actually probably one of the only epics that is actually worth trading because she has Empowered for her last ability. Anyways, let's keep going. Anything else? No. Okay, now I definitely used up all my luck. There's nothing left that I could probably get from this chest. Yeah, Tall's useless. Oh, wow. We got a lot of decent arcane trade stones there. I'll need to find purposes for them later. If I can get the other minor trade stones for them. Oh, green slime! It's actually amazing that we got green slime. Remember when I said Abrath, Keeper of Souls, and and Valkyrie? Well, this is the last troop that you need for that team to make a really, really powerful team. Most of you probably won't have that kind of combination anytime in the early game, but it's actually really, really powerful. Green slime creates 5 green gems, and then change all green gems to purple, which is really, really powerful. Then it increases a random skill based on magic. So really good. It creates a lot of purple, and it's good for countering goblin teams actually too, because you convert all the greens away from them. Plus you get to use the greens for yourself to make purples. Testarian, you're useless. Go away. Oops, I clicked on Ancient Horror. And another Celestial Trade Stone. And let's keep going. Inferno King! Also, I don't know why it doesn't say new. I know for sure I did not have Inferno King. Anyways, Inferno King is also a really, really powerful troop in this game right now. It transforms all green gems to skulls, and transforms all brown gems to red, and then deals split damage based on magic to all enemies. He is he's the only troop right now that has a double convert, which makes him pretty powerful. He's I won't be using him for a while because you need, for him to Inferno King to be really powerful, you need Stargazer with all of her traits, so she has Empowered, as well as Shegra, and we haven't gotten a Shegra drop yet. So until then, you might want to hold him off. If you do happen to get him and he's your only legend, you might still want to try him. Put him with something like Alchemist, and he'll fill up really quick. And that's all the drops for in here, it seems. Let's keep going. Wow, we're really going on the drops. I'm almost more, I prefer getting this extra Rwani than this Gloomleaf, but Gloomleaf is really bad in late game right now, but early game it is quite powerful. It steals armor from an enemy based on magic, and then steals 2 attack from all enemies. But that steal 2 attack is not based on magic. That 2 attack, regardless of magic, is always just 2 attack steal. So it does get pretty tanky and quite heavy. It's actually a really good counter early on because you can just keep draining all of the enemy's armor and attack and just keep buffing you up until you're unkillable. But other than that, you won't really need it too much. Its Swords is okay, but it does get outclassed by quite a few other troops, so you don't really need this troop. If you get it, use it early on, but you won't really need it too much later. We also got Barbarius, which is actually a really good troop early on. It explodes a gem, deals 7 damage to a random enemy, and then boosts it by each brown gem destroyed. But he is, if I'm not mistaken, the only troop in the entire game that has a ×3 boost ratio, which is really powerful. If you get 4 or 5 gems destroyed, 5 gems, that's an extra 15 damage right there. So that's a lot of extra damage for just destroying a gem. Plus his mana cost is 11, so not too high of a mana cost. His traits are useless. He's an epic anyways. One thing to mention, he is not a kingdom epic though, so you don't get him from any quest lines. You just have to hope to get him from a chest. And that seems to be it for these. Oh, I saw a new. Where'd it go? Oh, and we got an Arcane Mountain trait stone. This would actually be pretty good early on a Dust Devil if we can get another one. Let's keep going. We have 250 left. Let's hope for some. Maybe we'll get another war. We only got Myriad. Nothing good. Nothing good at all. Let's see. Okay. We have Azarus. I personally hate Azarus. A lot of people like him, but he transforms a selected mana gem. So he selects 1 gem, turns it into a skull. If there are 10 or more purple gems on the board, he gains all of his mana back. He is really good with skull spawning decks, things like Keeper of Souls and anything that really spawns skulls, because all he can do, or once you have his mana up, you can just place a skull on the board wherever there's a bunch of skulls and get a free extra turn or a skull pair or whatever. It allows a lot of skull damage. If you have a really big attack dealer up front in your team, he's really good at helping make sure you can get skull pairs when the board might not have too many, or really good at looping them if this board does have a lot of them. So he can be pretty good. He is not a quest epic, so you do have to get him by luck on a chest, and his traits aren't too good. Necromancer is somewhat good, but you need 8 arcane trait stones to get up to it, so it does cost quite a bit. And we have Alana. Alana is a pretty basic, all she does is deal AoE damage to all enemies. She has gotten a little bit outclassed because she hasn't been rebalanced for a while, because there's a lot of troops that do full AoE now, and she's kind of fallen behind because all she does is full AoE. You do get her from a quest line for completing Divinian Fields. You get her, and she has a little bit of that Wild Folk counter as well, with the Wild Folk plus the armor piercing, but she's an epic, so you won't really need a trader. And that seems to be all of our drops here. Let's see, any trait stones? Nope. Let's keep going. We only have 150 left. And we got a couple more. Salamander. Salamander is okay early game. You won't need him too much afterwards. The main reason he's good early game is he has burn, but he just deals damage to an enemy and then burns them. Honestly, I think Chimera, I can never pronounce that right. Chimera, whatever it's called, is much better than Salamander, so you won't really need Salamander. Salamander is also not a quest epic, so you can't get it that easily. And we have Valor. Valor is designed completely to counter Daemons. You won't really need him too much unless you find a really heavy Daemon team. He deals damage to an enemy, deals double damage if they're Daemon, and if the enemy dies, and a random ally gains 8 life. And the one that scales is the damage off of magic. And he has some okay traits, mostly just to counter Daemons. And you won't really need him. He's not a quest epic, so you don't need to worry about him too much. And that seems to be it. Let's go to the last 100. Yep, come on. We have Bolturus, really good with HP buffers. He deals 4 damage to randomly split among all enemies. and then boosts his damage based on the amount of life he has at a 2-to-1 ratio. So he's really good with healers, really good with HP buffers and things like that. Of course, you won't need to trade him. And also, he is not a quest epic, so you won't be able to get him too easily, unfortunately. But he's really good if you can get HP buffs on him. And that seems to be it for this. So let's do our last 50. Can we get anything lucky? I think we already used up all of our luck at this point. I'm extremely happy with these drops already. So let's see what we can get. Well, we got a legend already. I already have Primus, or Cabarrus, whatever it's called. And that seems to be basically the only drop. Oh, we did get another Tyree though, so that will kind of come in handy. I believe that's only my second Tyree though, so not too many Tyrees. And that seems to be it for drops. Okay, so with this, I won't actually be using too many of these. I still want to keep this account focused on being able to be representative of early game players, despite how unlike it seems right now. But I do one main thing that I want to do with this Let's Play is cover both early game, like basically like level 50 and under, or level 100 under, as well as mid game at the exact same time. So now that I've opened all of these keys, I'll be able to do that a little bit easier. Since I have these gems right now, let me do this on camera. Let's buy the dragon armor. I won't be using it too much because I do want to keep the spider armor. Spider armor, as I mentioned, is the most expensive armor you can get, or the best armor that you can get that gives no EXP bonus. So I want to keep my level down, so I'm using only the spider armor right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We have 10 keys right now. I think they're gold keys. Yeah, let's just use those real quick. Got another rockworm, that's good. Another Valkyrie, that's also good. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about any troops, feel free to leave in the comment section below, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you might have about them or anything about this game. So that will do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful.